Want to hear a joke?
Yes. Do it.
America.
America's
yeah.
joke.
That's a joke. That's definitely a joke.
That's the best one-liner joke, one-word joke for this week, actually.
No, like some people are going to say, what kind of fucking sadistic bastard is this guy? But if you look at what is happening now in the States, as we are recording this on a Sunday,
America's burning.
It is burning.
Literally.
Various states, various cities. And they were encouraging this kind of behavior in Hong Kong, in Syria, in Venezuela, in Ecuador. And then now that shit is happening in their own backyard.
Yeah. But let's also talk about how it first started. How did the first flames started burning?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
we just lost a Q.
Yeah, I'm still here.
We'll be back. Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
We actually have to introduce Q again. He was on the podcast before, but now you can see him in person.
You can see his lovely face. Q's a recurring guest. I think you have joined us for like 2 previous podcasts, right, Q?
Yeah, this is my 3rd time, and I feel like we're starting to, be an item. I think
He actually inspired us.
Serious.
You have him to thank for the opening jokes.
Should we get a prenup ready? So in case things turn serious, we can protect ourselves.
We'll leave Liban to write it up.
Yeah.
For sure.
With all the clauses
and the thing is that we love people who wear glasses.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. Even Sean wears glasses, but there it's out.
Yes, we have to be Asian lah. We have to be Asian.
Yeah, we have to be Asian. Actually, now since everyone's wearing glasses, I should wear, so I'm not the odd one out.
Does your glasses actually have like degrees in it?
Yeah, it does. It does. Holy shit, you guys are fugly. Oh my god. Well, we're waiting for Q to come back before we start this podcast proper.
You can start now.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna. So for right now, we're just gonna talk shit about him.
While he can't see us.
Yeah.
While he can't see us.
No, so we start.
Wait, he can see us. We can't see him. So
yeah.
he can talk shit about. No, he can't even talk shit about us. He can make faces. Like how disgusted he is with.
Because he's reporting from the riot zone, so
right.
Difficult for him, but
let's get him started. Let's get this whole thing started. America.
Okay.
Yeah. So by giving some background about
George Floyd.
Topic.
Yes.
So two incidents happened on Monday actually. The first one was the lady Amy Cooper who started screaming at this guy.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because he told her politely to leash her dog in Central Park. And she was upset about it and she called the cops on him. And the guy was smart enough to actually film her, and with the help of social media, that went viral, and she was like vilified as a racist.
And also an animal abuser.
Yes, the way she was like strangling her dog.
Yeah,
that was pretty nasty to see.
You can tell she's quite a nasty person. Or maybe I won't be so mean now, but she is.
But good things happen to bad people,
nice.
And she was immediately fired from her job. Yeah, I think like it was like less than a day later where was it a private bank or something?
I didn't know that she was fired, but
she was let go.
Oh shit!
I think she was let go.
Yeah, because you become so
Franklin Templeton Investments. So she was fired from the company.
You become so untrustworthy, right? You're trying to pull off this kind of shit in broad daylight.
Yeah.
With so much confidence. The guy is like filming you.
Yeah.
And you still have the fucking gall to like call the cops on the guy.
And he's not just calling the cops, but what she said actually. He said that an African American man was threatening her life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not helping the situation at all. In fact, after when we get further down, when we break all the other stuff down, that act actually is kind of suspicious that she would do that.
Yes.
And
she would do that.
But kudos to the guy. The moment she leashed her dog, he said thank you.
No, the guy was extremely calm.
Yeah.
He did not overreact. He did nothing. He just started filming and he gave lip service to her.
I think he already knew where it was going. He knew from probably her like what she was doing, how she sounded, he probably already got the things like this lady is either not everything's there or she's seeing something else. She's just I don't know. She might plead that later.
To be fair, right? Just
Hmm.
just be a devil's advocate. I think sometimes when you make a phone call, like to the authorities, it does you do want them to give you maximum attention. So it's kind of like going to a doctor and you say, "Yeah, I'm not feeling very well." The doctor is not going to be so responsive. But if you start describing like, I'm having a pain here and there, it's bleeding here and there, then they start to take notice. And I just feel like maybe it's a technique. Instead of saying like, oh, someone's harassing me, maybe she was trying to say like, okay, there's an African American man, and then I feel like it's an understood thing. Like, okay, that means I have to take a little bit more. I don't know if we should jump straight. Obviously, with the development of the event, sure. But right at that time when she was making the phone call, you don't want to call her racist because African American is kind of factual, and then the inference of the fact that it's African American may be her rhetoric to get more attention than if you were to say a nice lady was. We all know that if a girl hangs around your house spying on you, it's less serious than if a man is standing around spying on you. So I don't know. I think right at that
she also
point of
said
time.
that he was threatening her life, which is clearly not true.
Yes. Yeah. No. So I feel that Q's point is valid. Like the descriptors that she used
to garner the attention.
It is factual, like what he said. Like to be.
She knew the game that she was playing by playing the race card. She knew that the attention
it should be prioritized.
Yeah.
But where everything like went into the fucking drain was when she started lying about it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So she said that the guy was trying to assault her and all this kind of shit when he did nothing but say, "Ma'am, like leash your dog."
So I think if you have called the cops and said there's a African American man telling me politely to leash my dog in a park where it's actually park rules, and I'm pretty upset. I think that would be a.
You would just hear a click.
Yep. Click. So she was trying to hype up the situation just to get a respondent to come.
Yeah.
And she actually.
In other words, she was lying. She made false claims, and she was trying to incriminate someone based on those lies.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't incriminate anyone just on the phone call, right? All you're trying to do is to get the police to come over.
Yeah, no, she's trying
believe you enough.
She's trying to bring them down to do something about it. She's trying to.
Exactly. The phone call was probably done in the man's presence as well. So
I think it was captured on the video, right?
Yeah, so in a way, it's also half to threaten the guy. Like, look, I'm calling the cops, and I'm telling him that you're threatening my life, so you better stop now. Why do I sound so defensive of Amy Cooper? I don't know. It's just that have you guys heard of this story?
Hey, Q, can you like turn on your camera? Sorry, so that at least we can, because we're going to upload this on YouTube as well. Yeah.
And right now I only see a K.
Yeah, a KE.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, have you guys heard of this story where a man was at an ATM and then he wanted to withdraw money, but then no, he wanted to deposit money. I'm getting this wrong. He wanted to deposit money, and somehow the money just went in and disappeared. It didn't get updated to the account, so the machine basically ate his $1,000. So it was in the middle of the night. There was no one, no staff. He was at the ATM, so he picked up that hotline telephone handset. And then he called the staff. There's a 24-hour maintenance, and he said, "Look, the machine ate my $1,000." And the staff told her, like, "Look, it's a Saturday. You have to wait till Monday, and then Monday the staff will come and we'll sort it out for you. Just go home and wait, lah." And he was like, "No, but I need my $1,000. Like, you have to do something. I mean, you have to do something." And then it was a click. And then he had an idea. he picked up the phone again and he called and he said, excuse me, I was just withdrawing money, and then $10,000 came out and it's not mine. I don't know why. So what do I do? Do I just take the $10,000 and leave? And then they're like, we'll send someone right away.
Right.
And then like 10 minutes later, someone came. So I feel like when we deal with these like bureaucratic things, you kind of have to exaggerate, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, but this story, right? It makes sense, but not for Amy Cooper.
I think I think we can all agree that her last name should be changed to CUNT. So
Yeah.
Amy Cunt.
No, I mean,
Oh, right.
he has a point. Like when you're on the phone, you do have to exaggerate sometimes to get what you want, to try to get what you want, get the response you want. Like in that case, you know, you also have to see. So in her mind at that point of time, she was thinking that if she had said those words, that's what would probably get their attention. And I think that line of thought, right, is one thing that we can find a problem with. She in her mind, she thought if she said African American man and assaulting me would have gotten the response that she wanted. So I think that's one thing. Probably the whole media over there will probably blow up on her. It's like, oh my god, what the hell? And the other part is that the guy was filming her, so we know for a fact that everything she's saying was a lie. If he wasn't filming her, if he happened to go there and he was without his phone, right, this could have taken a very, very dark turn, because the police would have turned up. But the problem is that he now wouldn't have any way to prove what he said was true.
Yeah.
And all she had to do actually is leash up her dog and lie some more. She said my dog was leashed up. This guy came out from nowhere and started hurling abuse at me. And now moving forward to what just happened to this man called George Floyd, that could have been another case of, you know, police arresting him and him pleading his innocence and no one believing him. And then later on it turns out that it's true. Like what he said is true and she said it's false. So it would have blown up more.
So the death of George Floyd was actually the main catalyst for this whole week of unrest across different cities in America.
I was actually thinking when it was going to blow over to the other cities, because at first it was only Minneapolis. Everything was just there because he died there. So the background of that was that this guy was under the suspicion of using counterfeit notes. A counterfeit note at a store, and then the police stopped him. And then they pulled him out of the car, and I think, not say a scuffle happened, but
no scuffle happened. So I saw video clips of him like not just resisting arrest, and he cooperated with the cops according to the from what I can see from the video, and then they just took him out of the car, brought him to the corner, the pavement, and then to a wall, and he was
and
quite
he
compliant.
slid down, right? He slid down.
Yes, and then after that you can't really see. I think the angle would be visible if they get the video from the dash cam from the other cop car which came.
Yeah, which is going to further incriminate them.
Yes.
Probably the whole thing. This whole thing was just on no part the man who died's fault. George Floyd didn't do anything. Some people actually suspected that while he was slumped against the wall, he was suffering a heart attack.
Right.
He was already having a heart attack then, and then the policeman.
Yeah. So the clip that went viral was of a police officer with his knee on his neck,
and him saying, "I can't breathe.
I can't breathe," and then other police officers, I think about 3 of them, surrounding and keeping people away, surrounding the guy being pinned down and keeping others away, and people are shouting. The person who's taking the video shouting, saying that let him go, he can't breathe. He's saying that he can't breathe, and then later on the guy died.
Yeah,
he apparently passed on. Right, that they actually saw. I think they were saying that he said, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." Then he stopped, and then
they said, "Mama."
That's it.
Yeah.
Anyways, everything about the way they handled it was wrong. The way the police handled it was wrong. Even the kneeling on his neck is wrong. Usually they'll kneel on your back. They'll put the body on your neck, on your back. Sorry, And I think it's someone in the middle of your back to just hold you. Okay, that's probably enough. Not many people can get out from that position.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
what they did was a criminal. I mean, it's just criminal.
Of course. I mean, did anyone see the irony? I mean, usually kneeling would be a subservient action, isn't it? But in this case, the civil servant, the police, kneeled down and killed someone. I don't know if anyone saw the irony in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Colin Kaepernick used to kneel down.
Yeah.
During the
I think I saw a side by side post. I don't think it's on that, but you know there's one. I think it's that the footballer that took a knee during the national. That's the guy, right? That's the guy, right? And then they put it side by side with this. The guy kneeling on the black guy's neck.
Yeah, kneeling has different meanings depending on how you do it. So I mean the big question and the the fact that it's caused such an uproar is police is whether this is a case of police brutality or racism. And I think people are angry for different reasons. It's one thing to be angry because the police did exercise brutality and violence on a suspect, and the other one is because he's black.
Which seems to be the focus, lah.
Yeah.
It definitely seems to be the most sensational one. And I don't know, because the first question is, would he be doing that to a suspect of another ethnic background? That's one, like, oh, you don't do that to a white guy. You don't do that. You only do this to black people. And then obviously the counter argument, people would pull up videos of police brutality, like white guys getting shot and for no reason, stuff like that. Sure, but this is different from being shot. At least you kill the person, but to kneel on someone's neck to asphyxiate the guy is definitely torture. I think you're getting off. And on some level you're definitely relishing that action.
The power you feel in that position. But the officer that was kneeling on his neck actually does have a history of police brutality.
Yes.
They had records of him on committing those having complaints, but there was no disciplinary action against him.
Right.
All of it was just a scolding or saying. Now the other thing is that it wasn't revealed who were the ones that made the complaints against him. Were they white? Were they black? That one I don't know. Hasn't been pulled up yet. The other, I mean, those things we don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether they know over there. So
if it's just exclusively black people, then the case is clear.
Then it's stronger against that. This guy is a racist, and he was abusing his power as a police officer. If that comes up in the coming up case against him, and the other thing is that how fast the country reacted to the news and how they immediately made it so sensational is, I think, putting it lightly.
No, because this has been
boiling. I think it was boiling.
Yeah, it has been cultivated for a very long time.
Like I just said, even before all those facts, I mean, all those came out because of this one act. I think all is like, hey, this is another black person's death.
Yeah,
and
it all started from Rodney King, when he was beaten by 7 cops on the pavement.
I think there were cases even before that as well.
But that was a high profile one because it was captured on television. Yeah, live TV and. Yeah,
the Stones concert, isn't it?
Yeah, so Rodney King on the freeway getting bashed by the troopers. That was one, and that followed with that was followed by protesters and then looting.
Yeah, so the looting part I never understood.
Yeah, so after that, I think where you saw looting again was, I think, Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Where there was like fucking devastation everywhere, and then people started looting.
Yeah. But in this
and
case,
then now this situation.
Yeah, in this case they're using looting as an act of like I think an act of aggression or some kind of act of protest on their part.
I don't think so. I think it's just people.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a criminal act.
They're just capitalizing on the fact that the police or security that they are not even there anymore.
Yeah.
I think it was a video you guys showed, which we can probably link of a lady in a wheelchair being attacked by looters.
Oh yeah, at Target.
Yeah.
They were accusing her of a knife, and when I opened
she had a knife.
I was thinking that, oh, this crazy lady is out there with a knife stabbing people, and then background story was she was using a knife to prevent looting.
Yeah.
She was apparently like blocking the entrance and just trying to prevent looting.
A guy just picked up her
extinguisher
and just sprayed her with the powder.
And she was beaten.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a lady. I think in a was it a wheelchair or was it a PMD?
Might be a.
I think it's a wheelchair. I think it's a wheelchair. But I think we're seeing like all sorts of escalating to other different cities as well. I saw a couple of videos of LA or
DC.
San Francisco.
I think DC.
Okay, so DC, LA, Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think where?
New York City.
New York City now, Brooklyn.
Yeah. So I saw a couple of videos of people like just using their cars to block the freeway, and they're going around smashing like random people's windscreen.
Yes.
So like where it comes to that point, then you start to question like who are these people going around causing a ruckus? Are they part of the movement, the hashtag George Floyd, or are they just have a different agenda?
Yeah, I saw a clip of people looting Louis Vuitton showroom boutique.
Yeah, they know how to pick.
Yeah, they just went in, they smashed and went in, and then picked everything and came out.
This is just pure criminal acts.
Yeah.
They're using what happened to him as an excuse, and it's an insult to George Floyd, in my opinion. It's an insult of what happened to him, because they're saying that, oh, we're doing this because of the atrocities that were committed against him. No, you're doing this for your own personal gain. You're using this as an excuse.
Well, this is a very common thing. It's almost human nature. I mean, I can remember the London riots, and they will always be looting. There'll always be people capitalizing on the situation. And I think what's interesting and what we can all learn from this is that, look, we've just talked about how kneeling has different meanings. You can kneel for your country. You can kneel to make a statement. You can also kneel to kill someone that you have a vendetta for. The lady holding the knife, you can use a knife to end someone's life. You can also use a knife to protect your store or prevent looters. It's almost like the action doesn't even matter anymore. It's more about the intention. It's what people should look at. So, yeah, I don't care if someone's black or white. I don't care if someone's police or not. It's more about what you do, and the action will dictate, whether you have a moral compass or not.
Because at first, when the whole riot started happened, it was in Minneapolis, right? In the two streets, where the police precinct is, and they were rioting to put pressure on the police department to prosecute the 4 cops who's and the guy who was kneeling down on George Floyd's neck.
He's already being
cops were around him that did nothing, right? And they were putting pressure on the department to actually do something and not just let him get away.
Yeah, because it took them quite some time to react to the situation, and what they did was to actually fire them. Right? And then
fire them.
After that, they were trying to like look at evidence and everything. Okay, that's fine, and then the next thing was to charge the police, the guy who kneeled on the victim, with 3rd-degree murder. And that was where the protests, I think, started to become. The protests were ramped up. Like people were like, "No, this is not."
3rd degree is what's 3rd degree?
The wording of it is like quite messy, but
causing death through negligent act or something, is it?
I read it, but then I was like, wow, they are really trying to like be damn vague about it. Then I like fuck it. I was like, and it's only like third degree murder is only like in few states lah, in Philadelphia, in Minnesota, and like two or three other states. Then like one or two other states have like 5 different degrees of murder.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure about U.S. criminal codes lah, but so
do you think that if the police department, the Minnesota PD, if they didn't have to appease the public, if they have complete freedom to deal with this case however they want, do you think they will still charge the man?
I think they would have tried all their best not to
help him get away.
Yeah, they would have tried their best
because
to help
that seems to be their track record.
Yeah, we're talking theoretically lah. We're talking theoretically.
Not only in Minnesota lah. Like I think across the country, this seems to be like the most common thing to do lah. You save your people first, right? Like there was this case, this white kid in I think Texas, if I'm not wrong, Devin Guilford, right? So he's 17-year-old white boy. He was
sorry, I'm gonna put on my power bank. Okay, I'm gonna charge.
Okay, right, sure.
Keep going.
Yeah. So he was driving. He drove his brother from church and dropped him off, or he was going to fetch someone after church. So he was driving, and it was at night, and there was a car coming coming towards him on the opposite direction, right? And he felt that the car was like the car had high beam on, so he flashed his high beam, thinking like I better flash and tell the person that your high beam is on so that you can lower it. If not, you'll blind the oncoming driver, right? But it was a cop car.
Right.
So the cop car like went past him, and he was like, "Oh, like it's a cop." Okay. And then the cop car made a U-turn and started chasing this car down and stopped him.
Right.
Stopped him, and then the cop came out and started talking to him, asking, "Why do you flash?" And then he was like, "No, because your lights were high. It was you were flashing me, so I could not see. So I flashed so that you would know that, that your high beam is on." And then the cop just denied that his high beam was on. And it became like, "No, it's not on, you're lying." Then the cop started asking for license, registration, and insurance. And then the kid got a little bit pissed off that, "Hey, I didn't do anything wrong." So, there's a slight argument there, and then suddenly, like, things escalated, and then the cop just asked, like, "Give me your license." License, registration, and then he's like, "I don't have it on me." And then it escalated from there to like get out of the vehicle. Then he took out his taser, right? And then the kid like, "I did not do anything wrong. You flashed me, and that's why I flashed you back to show that your flash, like your high beam is on. You're blinding people."
Yeah.
And then he threatened the kid, said that you get down on the ground right now. But the kid was filming it on his phone as well.
Oh.
Right. So
this was before there was the dash like.
No, the cop had his camera on as well.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then the kid goes on the ground, but the cop says that, "No, go all the way. Put your phone down." And then the cop like hits the phone out of his hand. And then the kid is like, "Why did you do that?" And everything. He tastes the kid. Right. And then the kid is like writhing in pain because he did not use the normal setting. He used the pain setting instead of the subdue setting. So the kid is like feeling pain, and he is like moving on the ground, right? And then he tells him like, "Stop moving." But the kid is like fucking getting electrocuted. He takes out his gun and then shoots the kid. Like,
What?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, that's mad.
Yeah.
That's mad.
What?
And
All
it
this was
captured, it captured on the thing. Yeah.
Wait again? Sorry, the kid was what color?
White.
Damn, that's mad. And what happened to the cop after that? Was he charged?
No.
Huh?
The cop was not charged. They settled 2.4 million.
Well, in a way, is that a fair settlement?
That's murder, though. The cop
Yeah.
murdered.
That's murder.
Yeah, that's murder. Like whatever, how no matter
Whatever
how
amount,
much money
still,
you give, yeah, you are never going to bring the kid back. Right?
He's not being punished, also.
Yeah.
Like
And there was
2.4,
another incident, but this is a black guy who was the victim. Cops, I think, were raiding some a hotel or something like that, and then they asked the guy to like crawl towards him, like get down on the ground, crawl towards me. And then when the guy came closer, the cop just started shooting, and the cop was like,
"No, this was during the shooting in Nevada, Las Vegas."
"Oh,
right?
in Vegas,
Yeah, when the guy was shooting from his hotel room at the crowd at the concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
this happened then.
Yeah. The carpets and all look a little bit fancy, so yeah, it must have been a nice hotel or what.
What? So as he was crawling towards them, they shot him.
Shot him, and then later on they claimed that he moved his hand towards his waistband, so they assumed that he was reaching in for a weapon or something, but the guy had nothing.
Yeah, and the command that they gave was like really confusing. Like, get down on your knees
and then crawl towards me.
Yeah. Something along the line. Crawl backwards or something.
This is what happens when because these policemen, they are not robots. They're people. And they're not inclined for programming. Like they can go through all their training.
Like what happened to the cop in Nevada, right? Was that he was placed on disability after that. So he claimed that he has some disability, and the government is actually paying him money. So as someone like a veteran with like PTSD or something like that, but the victim got nothing. The victim's family got nothing.
Then if he has disability, why is he even serving as a police officer?
I don't know how. I've not read everything about the
case.
We
have no idea how things work over there. It's all very shady and very green or very gray.
So then my question is, if I'm a police officer, would I start to do things like this? I always, it's very easy to vilify the officers, right? But I somehow feel like this is something to do with human nature. I mean, Stanford experiment, right? So what if one day I become a police officer? I would love to be the heroic good guy, on the knight on the white horse. But in reality, I feel like I would have my own reasons. Like, I've seen so many criminals. They're always up to something. So I'm going to have to see them as villains to begin with, and then have them prove their innocence, rather than me trying to, on the spot, try to find reasons to be nasty to them. I mean, I'm not defending them, but I do want to ask myself whether I would do the same thing or something to that extent if I am a police officer.
Because there's a saying in the police force, right, that when you're on the job, everyone is lying. And I think that it's even more dangerous, especially in a country where guns are rampant, both legal and illegal weapons. And every time when a cop pulls up a suspicious vehicle, they don't know exactly, and especially the windows are tinted. You don't know.
Yeah, so the assumption is always that they're guilty and they're proven innocent.
Yeah. The person might have a gun. That person might be a drug dealer. That person might have a kidnapped victim in the trunk of the car. You have no idea. So the gun,
it's warped. It's a little bit warped because it's usually the other way around. Innocent to proven guilty. So when they're approaching you, they have to assume that. I mean, suspicious on your end.
You have to put yourself in the position of an officer, right? If you're an officer patrolling a street in a cop car, and you see a car with maybe one of the tail lights is not switched on or is broken, what's the first thing you're going to ask yourself? Is this vehicle stolen? Is it stolen by a convicted felon or someone who's running from the law, or someone who just committed crime?
Yeah, but usually they run the plates.
Sorry.
Okay, so if they see a broken tail light, and then they are like, hey, whatever questions that you just asked, went through your mind, and then they look at the number plate, and then they run the number plate through your system. Like, who does it belong to? Does it have registration? Does the person who owned the car have a warrant out for them?
Yep.
Like all this kind of shit. And then they like, okay, let's stop the car.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they also have to identify the driver, whether that person is who he says he is, right?
Correct. So that's where they ask for identification. Like, you have a driver's license? Do you have anything, any ID on you?
But the thing about that is that walking up to the car, you have to be ready that that person is not who he says he is, who might have a gun, who might be a drug dealer, or might be on meds or some shit. So there's all these different things, or he might be completely innocent. So there are all these different things, algorithms running in your head, and you have to be ready for whatever is going to happen in a split second. You know?
But I'm not sure if it's the same for all states. But I don't know about their laws about identification. Like, I thought that if an officer asks you for identification, no matter what, you have to give your identification. That's over here, lah.
No, it's pretty much the same thing there.
No, but over there.
No, you have the rise of people doing the sovereign. I'm a sovereign person shit.
No, that one is nonsense. But I mean, the cases where is there a law where if a police officer asks you for identification, you have to produce it, or is it that they have this right to ask why? Because I seen a video where an officer stops this guy, and the argument starts when officer asks, "Can I have your license and identification?" And the other guy asks why, and apparently the officer must give him a reason in order for him to produce the identification. Otherwise, he has the right to deny that.
Yes, I've seen a video of like a Florida, I think, district attorney or state attorney, who's a black lady. She was stopped by cops. Right, so she pulled over, and then she wound down the window, and she had everything ready. And then when they asked, she immediately asked, "Why are you stopping me?" Right, and then
but if it's so well known,
and she gave her ID, right? And then after that, she was like, "Do you have your name cards with you?"
Right.
And then when they run the ID, they were like, "Holy shit, this lady is a state attorney."
Right.
And then they were like, "Oh shit, okay." And then they started giving reasons for why they stopped her lah. "Oh, we ran your plate. We didn't know that it didn't come up. Nothing came up." So they were like trying to get away from, like, "Oh, why did we even stop you?"
Yeah, and I think going back to Q's point, I think there's a certain level of certain level of like human greed, hunger for power, when you're put into a position where you can lord over someone. Like, no matter how moral you think you are,
actually that's the worst case, when you actually think you're morally
superior.
When you're morally superior, then you will justify every one of your actions. Like in your case, you said that they have to think about these things when they approach the guy. They have to, the person's very suspicious. In his head, he's thinking, I'm doing my job.
Yeah, I think we saw that with recently there were documentaries made in Australia about the SAS, Special Air Services, the special ops soldiers who went to Afghanistan and Iraq and all, and they were killing people for no reason.
Yeah.
But because they think they were on the moral high ground, they thought everything they did was right.
They thought that, and it was true as well. Their regiment covered everything up, or almost most of it up lah.
Yeah.
To the point where they could not do that when people came out and like they were like, no, this is not the right thing to do. This, like, a couple of whistleblowers.
But you see, in those cases when they start arguments, right? When there was an argument going on, there was this thing that Q linked to all of us, the logical fallacy things.
Yeah.
I think that's where it plays a huge role. Where when these arguments, people start doing those things to try to justify their arguments. And most of it, like the bandwagon one, is kind of what we're seeing now.
Yeah.
I think on the side of what's happening in the US, where people are jumping onto the Black Lives Matters, all that, even though it might not be the case. I'm not saying that Black Lives doesn't matter, but it should. What they were fighting for, what they should be fighting for, is that all life matters. The equality of life. The moment you put something in front of that, when one life should matter, I know what they're trying to say. They're trying to say Black Lives Matters in the sense that there's this. They're saying that there's this imbalance between how people over there value white lives over every other life. So they're saying Black Lives Matter because there's inequality and they want to raise it back up. But the problem with that is that you put that I don't know, that the focus on that one color, on that race, and that's not going to solve it. That's just going to, you're basically trying to replace. You're trying to turn the triangle the other way. When what you should be
because equally, I could have said he was only doing it because George Floyd was a man. Like all the brutalities, most of it happens to men.
Yeah, so
I don't
life
see
matter.
girls having their necks being kneeled on. So clearly, this is about sex. It's because he's a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see someone doing that to a woman. So then, I mean, I would say that would be an equally valid argument. But you start to generalize and you start to create straw men, misrepresentation, and then things will go out of hand. And it's very emotional. These rhetorics work so well because it's fucking emotional and it's really awesome to use. So it's very dangerous. We have to be really careful.
Yeah, and as I was mentioning earlier in the day, like you can see even the news outlets, like what they're trying to do now.
Just take sides.
Right? Yeah, they have taken sides, right? And it's obvious which news outlet will take which side. So CNN and MSNBC has been saying that the whole race issue is now blowing up because blacks have been oppressed for so long, and black lives have not mattered. So now they are rioting because of that, right? And then you have Fox News, which is taking the other side, right? They're saying okay, it happened, but do you put it down to police brutality, or are you saying that it's purely racist? Or the systematic racism, that term, they throw that in, and then
I think it goes down to actually when I saw the link that he sent right now, it's kind of making a lot more sense that it's working both ways. They're using a lot of these fallacies to justify their points, both sides.
Yes. So on both sides, they are essentially they have picked one side to argue on, and then the other side. So we see that, but by rioting, like Tucker Carlson's point of view was by looting and rioting, you're not going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like taking the high ground on both sides are trying to take the high ground.
No, and Q actually just pointed out one little problem with not say Black Lives Matter in total. It's just that it can be taken as male lives matter, men. More men lives matter, or it can take tall men matter. It can be put into any way. The only problem there is that they have so much history.
Yeah.
So again, emotional. There's so much history. It was a pot that was boiling for a very long time.
Shall we jump into the 10 logical fallacies, Q?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Apply them to him.
Yeah,
but I don't have a big one. Yeah, so go.
You guys have the
we brought up the image.
The image, yeah.
Yeah, we have. You send the link.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously I mentioned one just now. These are the common logical fallacies. And for people who don't know or haven't heard of this term, a logical fallacy is when you try to argue for something in a way that doesn't make sense, but it's often disguised or not easy to tell. And this thing is not it's not exclusive to lawyers or intelligent academics people. I think it happens to anyone who can speak. Yeah, so even like family arguments or like boyfriend girlfriend or whatever it is, these things come out all the time. So I think it's good to talk about a few of them.
Okay.
I don't know if we have time to talk about all of them, and a lot of them are overlapping.
Yeah.
So I talked about straw man, which is like the story is where you create a straw man. So you create a man out of straw, and that makes it easier to attack. So what it means is you misrepresent someone's argument so that you make it easy to attack.
Okay. That is one of the most common one.
Yeah, one example is like, okay, this is a black man, for example. And as we know, black people have a high rate of like criminal statistics. So I'm gonna have to say that I need to do this thing to this black man. And so you start to generalize, you start to create a straw man where you start to say, well, you know how black people are. And while black people do have statistically, higher crime rate, whatever, while that is irrefutable, it does not necessarily apply to this black man that you're talking about. So you're creating a straw man. Yeah, and people do that all the time.
This is one easier way to attack the person's point, and also to draw attention away from the actual thing. Because the actual one, you cannot find any fault with it. Like if you can't find a fault with that, if there's a straw man available for you to create, you might as well just put that there.
Yeah, and another one which is like very popular is ad hominem,
which is very related to the straw man, I think.
Yeah. So you can't argue, or you can't make like a logical argument, and then you just attack the person's character, or you use the person's character as a way to argue your point.
Yeah, as an evidence. So I could say that John, you are the one who stole the cake, and then he goes like, I didn't steal the cake. And then you start to say like, but John, we all know what kind of person you are. You lied many times, you've done this, you have a criminal record.
Yeah.
I mean, how can I not say that you are not the one? I mean, so then you start to assassinate the guy's character. But it might not have. I mean, it's a good way to start the investigation process, but I would say, it's not the foolproof way of proving something. It's not an evidence.
But it's extremely effective.
Yeah. It is. I mean, basically, it's in politics.
In politics, or like you can use David Icke as an example.
You assassinate his character.
You assassinate his character, saying that, he believes in lizard people. And then you discredit every other thing that he says.
Yeah, how can I trust him if he...
he believes that people...
On this matter.
Yeah,
he believes in chichat.
He's a lunatic. You think I should believe someone who's that insane?
Yeah, even Alex Jones as well, right?
Alex Jones as well.
Yeah, they will pick one weird thing that Alex Jones is saying and then discredit him for everything. And only like a couple of years after, he's been talking about the pedophilic ring that's going around in America between like politicians and celebrities.
Like people actually brought him on to shows just to laugh at him.
Yeah.
And I think there's also
was revealed to be one of the highest pedophilia in America, and was laughing now.
Yeah, but there's also reverse ad hominem, I think. Just because someone is a noble person or have done good things doesn't mean that he couldn't have done one bad thing. So to say like, Barack Obama couldn't have, ordered the invasion of Iraq or something because I've seen all the good things he's done. Come on, he cannot be the one. It's a bit of a reverse ad hominem as well.
Yeah, it's like saying that Barack Obama is black. He can never be racist.
That's been proven wrong. Yeah, anyone can be racist. Anyone.
Yeah, you have your moments, and Mother Teresa must be perfect because of all the charity that she's done.
Mother Teresa herself, she is an extremely controversial figure, but like mainstream media and pop culture has made it seem like she's like the kindest, most pleasant lady. But then
Christopher Hitchens wrote a book on her.
And he made a short film about her.
Hell's Angel.
Yeah, Hell's Angel. Yeah.
I mean, we could totally have another episode on Mother Teresa. And get shut down.
Maybe not just her. Maybe all the great figures in life.
Yeah, we could
like Gandhi.
Gandhi having like
the Dalai Lama.
having children, wives, like young girls as wives.
No, he used to sleep with like not like literally like have sex, but like
I mean even
sleep
geniuses
with younger women to test his like what do you call that, celibacy or his abstinence.
Test his penis then.
No, like whether he can abstain from doing anything. Like
so he's testing little Gandhi.
Like, it's quite weird lah. It's fucking weird lah.
And then Martin Luther King as well. Didn't he have like a couple of mistresses? Yeah, and he was a women abuser as well.
Yeah, with links to this ad, how many is like if you go over there and try to talk about Martin Luther King. Try.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, like people look at like famous figures and then put them on a pedestal and think that God, you know.
They are people. So even Albert Einstein's a genius as well. I think he married his niece. Or his
but that's also cultural and of the time. It's arguable, but I think this is a good segue to something that has often been misused, which is begging the question. Begging the question originally, I think most people use it wrongly. It's like, if something happens, then it begs the question. Then you ask a follow-up question, like this thing created another question. But this is not the original idea of begging the question. The original idea of begging the question is something called tautology. Tautology is like saying X equals X, Y equals Y. Like why is X X? You cannot prove it. You can only say, well, because it just is. And that's begging the question. Like you are using the question to answer your question.
I think religion has done this to a perfection. Right?
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
So a good example of begging the question, if we talk about religion, is why is God great? Because God is the greatest. Like, because God is infallible, he will not do anything evil. That's why he's not evil. That would be something like begging the question. You're using the premise itself to answer the question.
Which nicely moves us on to the next one, which is appeal to authority.
This is very related to the George Floyd incident and all the other police stuff.
And even the religion one as well, like the example that we gave. Like, why is this so? Because the Bible says it so.
Yeah, and sometimes when we talk about police brutality and abuse of power, people kind of forgive them a lot because they are the police. Because they have the people's, that's their job. So this is the appeal to authority where because of the fact that they are in authority, you don't want to doubt them.
Yeah.
And this, I think, can be exemplified in like North Korea or even in China, where it's just run by where the person in charge is like an emperor or
Yeah, and even in daily life, right? You hear things like, experts say that the economy is gonna, or like scientists have discovered that if you eat carbs at this time, the certain protein that you eat is not good for you. You have to, and you kind of, they're obviously using the fact that it's experts and scientists to try to strengthen their claim, and this is the appeal to authority.
Yes, it's most of the time where it's used when there's an argument. Like, how do you prove this? And then one person says that this authority says so. Like, how do you prove that this car only emits like this much of carbon dioxide? And then they're like, oh no, WHO said so. Well, like the EPA said so. Yeah. So I that's fine.
I mean, so you're not answering the
question, right? You're not answering the question. You're not saying that, okay, here's the report saying it emits this much. That would be a way better answer than, no, here says so. Like, this authority says so you must believe me.
Yeah, And I think equally there is also the appeal to nature.
Yes.
Which is quite related because it relies on certain stereotypes or general knowledge that people have. So it's to say like something like vegetarianism or veganism must be better because it's vegetarian, because it's non-animal based.
Could it
also
be used for human nature
as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he must have stolen the money because, as we know, people are greedy.
Yeah, it's human nature.
Yeah, it's human nature, and eating meat is bad because meat is meat, and yeah, we don't talk about the shades of gray, like how much meat do you eat, what kind of meat, what's the process of it.
We just think do another whole episode on that.
We could. You should invite vegan guests or something.
Yeah.
On how meat is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. We'll save it for that one, but even they, kind of admit it when they come up with the Impossible Burger. Like, as much as you try to stay vegetarian or vegan, you still want meat. You just don't want it to be meat. You want meat.
Sure.
You make more.
You could say that.
More meat.
You could say that
because in your mind, in your head, you want it to be meat, but you can't have it.
No, or so
I don't get
play
that.
it the other way
just
around.
Stay with yours.
You can play it the other way around. You can say that is a method to bring more meat eaters towards veganism or vegetarianism.
You could.
That I'm giving you an alternative for meat.
I see. So actually, the mock meat and everything has to attract me to go and eat that one.
Yes.
No, if I want to eat meat, I eat meat, right?
Like, you look at this. This is almost as good as meat, or maybe even better.
I mean, the really current one is like vaccination must be bad because it's chemicals, it's artificial. So then you're appealing to nature where artificial things are known to be bad, chemicals are known to be bad, and then you use that and say that because of that the vaccination is bad. But obviously you have to look into it. Almost everything we eat involves some kind. I mean, salt is sodium, sodium chloride. So it's very easy to make a mistake if you just appeal to nature.
Yes, that would be a very poor. That's why it's a poor form of forming an argument.
Yeah. So what else we got?
Yeah, we have few.
How many have we touched on though? We touched on strawman 1, 2.
Well, there's a whole lot actually.
Yeah.
We touched on 5. So I think we can go maybe 5 more. Just do 5 more. Make it 10.
Sure.
We already covered bandwagon also. Appealing to the popularity or the fact that many people do something as a form of validation.
Yeah, another very popular one is anecdotal.
Yep.
What does that do?
Tell again?
What does that do?
Anecdotal, so like, okay, I was going to, like you make a point, and then to back up your point, you give a story that you experience, and then you extrapolate that or you use that to generalize to try and strengthen your point.
Yeah, I got a friend who did that, and it was like that one thing that happened, and this happens a lot with like miracles as well.
Yeah,
isn't it? Like I know someone and this thing happened to someone, so it must be true.
Exactly. Like one argument that I'm seeing right now quite a bit on social media is, Singapore is such a racist place. What is your evidence for that? Like, what happened? I went down and then someone didn't stand next to me. Like, when they looked at me, they moved away. It was because
the Indian, was it Indian?
I think it was a Rice Media article, right? Was it?
Yeah.
Was a Rice Media article?
Using your experience to validate the entire notion.
So you experienced that.
Happened to you.
Yeah, no. This was in the train. She said that like I sat on the train
and
empty seat. Wants to sit beside me because and then the person assumes because the person is Indian.
Yeah. Assume that it's because she was Indian and that no one wants to sit that Singaporeans are inherently.
But here's the thing though, we don't know how much you weigh. she could be 200 kilos and she occupied 2 seats. That's why no one wants to sit beside her. They can't sit beside her. That's why.
Or you smell.
Yeah, probably.
But then again, the smell part is the part that they'll probably work to her advantage, saying, "Oh, she assumed that because I'm Indian, I smell."
No, because you didn't shower. That's why you smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
If
you
you
didn't put
shower
on
like at least
deodorant.
once a day, you wouldn't stink.
There is DO.
Or maybe because you're fat.
Yeah. So basically, it's another form of generalization where because you like vaccination. I know a baby who died after being vaccinated. Tell me I'm wrong. And usually these fallacies stand up because there is a portion of it that is irrefutable.
Yeah,
But
because
I
the baby
cannot
died.
argue that a couple of babies died after being vaccinated. I cannot argue against that. But so it's very when you try to say things like vaccination is bad for everyone, yeah, people fall into the trap of just because they cannot argue with the fact that 0.4% of babies die, you have to kind of lose out on the entire argument.
Yeah. No, it goes to the causation and correlation, right?
Yes.
Whether was it the causal factor for the baby dying, or was it just correlated?
Yes.
Yeah. So like that's where the anecdotal part dies. Because it doesn't prove anything.
Yeah, and then they make the proving it the person claiming doesn't have to prove it.
I think most of the logical fallacies, right, have that
the burden of proof
intent. Yeah.
The burden of proof. Like it's no longer up to me to prove my argument, it's up to you.
Yes.
To prove me false.
Yes, correct.
So if I say something like I think it goes with the
What happened to Sean?
Again?
Oh, Sean is doing Gary.
No, he's back.
All right, Sean.
Did I have a happy face when I did it? Or was I
slightly happy face lah?
Okay, I can as long as it's happy, it's okay. But yeah, it's the whole proof of I think the harsher one is there is no God. Or there is a God. That one is, both sides just throw it on the other guy to prove them wrong.
Yeah, and the burden of proof sometimes manifests in a question like, how do you know? How do you know? So like if I say, oh man, I don't know, man. I don't think God exists. And then someone says, oh no, God definitely exists. And then you go like, but how do you know? And then the guy says, but how do you know God doesn't exist? And then this is where, this is where
then those who
will argue forever.
Fellas arguing, just jerking off each other.
That's usually how it ends up, because that's usually probably how it ends up. You leave them in the room long enough, it's like, prove there's no God, prove there is. Well, if there was no God, could I do this? And then it's like, oh my God, but if there is a God, then would I not do this? And then, it gets stranger and stranger as it goes.
Yeah. What about ambiguity? Don't a lot of politicians use ambiguity in their speeches?
Trump is using it a lot, I think.
To disassociate themselves from the truth or from what's really happening.
All the time.
Trump says all the time. Most of them don't really answer the question. They just answer the question with another question.
Or they talk totally off topic.
Yeah, it's their go-to thing. You answer a question with a question, the person will have to think about that question. Can't answer that question, can you? That means your question makes no sense. You say, what? It's a good way to throw people off. Like, what is your... Say again? Man from the...
equally, there is also incredulity. Just because something is difficult to believe doesn't mean it's true. Like, I think what comes to mind is, let's say, theory of evolution. Like, oh, you're telling me, human beings came from dolphins. I mean, come on, how can that be true? But that is not a good argument against it. It's just like, well, just because you can't believe it doesn't mean it's not true. I'm not saying it's true, but when you say like, oh, come on, that's ridiculous, doesn't hold any water.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it also falls under the other person to make the argument understandable to the person that is being presented to. Isn't it?
Yeah. And this is a prevalent problem. A lot of things, especially today's age, things are very, very complicated. And I feel like most people can only settle for your 140 characters or your simple packaged rhetorics. People don't have the authority or the knowledge to get into a deeper argument, but yet they want to find some sort of solution or a black and white thing.
Yeah.
So that's extremely, frustrating when you're arguing something.
Yeah, because black and white it is usually like you are either on the black side or you're on the white side, like forcing people to pick one.
Which is what Trump is good at doing it, lah.
I think most politicians all do the same thing.
Yeah, because they want to get you to their side, so they definitely want to make you choose both sides. And then, if the other side is something they have a strong argument against, because they want you to be on that side so they can win.
Like if you're not friends with China, you must be enemy of China.
Yeah.
Where is the middle ground? Hey, if you legalize marijuana, do you really want our society to become like addicts? I mean, this is black and white. Like, are you saying that it's either we legalize and then everybody becomes an addict, or we don't legalize it and then everybody becomes like awesome?
No, I think this is what didn't the short film was being made on this very point?
Yeah. The one that we watched here.
By the CMB.
Which was shameful.
No what?
That was black and white. That was are you going to pick the right thing to do, or are you going to pick this?
Yeah.
That is a very, very black and white thing to suggest to the public. It's either this or that. No middle ground, no other ways, no other possibilities.
Yeah, nothing else can happen. It's like if legalization or decriminalization happens, this is the outcome.
Yeah, it's good. It's so systemic as well. I mean, this thing like kids, you always say things like you need to study hard, you need to get A's for all your exams, because otherwise, do you really want to work on construction site? You want to be bangla, like these things that we hear as kids. Like, I mean, somebody can come and correct me, but I would say a lot of kids have to listen to this kind of indoctrination. You either study hard or your life is going to be shit.
I think it's a pretty common thing. It's just that the examples are most likely will be different now.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to be sweeping the road? Do you want to be a construction worker? You want to be a delivery driver? You want to drive taxi? You want to like anything that they consider low paying
below
jobs.
Below or what, right? And right now, dangerous job.
Oh, Sean did a Gary.
Oh, Sean looks like he just wanked off.
And now he's back.
Yeah.
I had to do faces now because I'm the one that has the, oh my god, it's me.
No, the ironic thing, these so-called jobs that people used to think are low-paying jobs or not worthy jobs are actually the ones still operating.
Essential.
And
the ones and the ones that people hold in high regard, actor, celebrity, and politicians, not doing much.
Imagine if all the road sweepers or garbage collectors just decide to go on strike. We'll all be dead. Within a week, they'll probably
roads will be dirty. No riot lah. It'll be too dirty to riot.
No, you'll have people coming in to fill the void lah.
Yeah, I mean the reverse, I think is more salient. Like in terms of this study hard example, it's not to say that if you don't study hard, you will have a shit life. I think it's more the reverse. Even if you study hard, it does not guarantee happiness.
That was a very good point. Yeah.
Yep. Even if you start, but they can't really say that. You see, I think that that one issue is that they were brought up that way, or they were led to believe that way.
No, because also
that's how they lack,
right? You can't tell kids that, hey, even if you study hard, get good grades, and get married in the future, you might not be happy.
Which is the truth,
a kid will not understand. A 10-year-old kid will not understand that.
And the
You
kid
have
will
to
just
scare
go
your kid
yeah.
into studying. Like, hey, you look at that guy over there. See him wearing dirty clothes, sweeping the floor. You don't study hard. You're going to become like that.
Yeah, you use fear.
Yeah.
And then he's a doctor. He's a doctor in a war-torn country.
The guy looks over and says, "I actually came here with a doctorate. It's just that none of you recognize it here. I can actually solve high-level calculus. I can build you a machine out of thing. But over here, all I'm qualified for, according to your government, is to sweep the floor."
And I think I don't know. I don't have any kids, but I like sometimes when I travel, when I'm in the bus or on the train, I hear like parents talking to their kids like they're retards. It's just quite sad, you know. And I feel that
there is a way to educate your children, and parenting is important. But then I feel like in order to make your point across, parents may use simplistic arguments like these to get your point across. It's not to say that your point is wrong, but the way you argue your case may teach your kids something a bit different. Like you start to have some collateral damage. Your kids will then grow up to only use simplistic arguments without going into the shades of grey.
Yeah, because no greyness was ever introduced.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want kids.
Wow.
Is that why?
But you love making kids, right? Making babies.
I don't know about that. It's just that I don't want kids. I don't want to have the responsibility of raising another human being, and raising them wrong, and having them cause global problems, adding to the problems of society, going around and spreading a thing. You know what my father said? No, if I don't study, I'll become
Sean,
like that guy.
Are you do you hold on to the worldview of anti-natalism?
I don't even. The thing is that if I don't Google up that word, I will never know what that means. And if I don't know the meaning of that word, I should never try to.
The worldview of
you don't want people to have kids.
Yeah, it's immoral to have kids, basically.
Yeah, because there are too many people.
It's not immoral to have kids. It's see what you're having. I mean,
look
at your situation. Look at your situation before you decide.
Anti-natalism. Yeah.
So no, but there are like a couple of reasons why, right? Like some people say that there are already too many people on the earth. Then there are not enough resources.
But that has a fallacy there somewhere, right?
Of course,
You're just assuming that there are no resources, so you should have a baby. So who gets to decide who doesn't? Everyone doesn't have a baby. Then what?
Basically, the basic worldview is that humans are evil. Humans are destroying Earth, and we should all go extinct.
Wow.
That's basically like we're going to sum up the
anti-natalism.
No, that is the extreme view, lah.
No, it is. No, it's not extreme, dude. It's not extreme because if you don't want to have kids, if you truly believe that's immoral, then you should just have like. Then
I don't believe it's immoral. I just made that choice myself. I'm not. You can have kids. Anyone can have kids. I just don't want. I should have that choice.
Because the key litmus test for whether something is moral or ethical is whether it applies to everyone. I think when something has to apply to everyone, then that is ethical. That's something ethical. Like you should
don't kill.
Murder. That's the number one, I think.
Yeah.
And then if you start to say, well, some people can kill.
No.
If you start having exceptions, then that I think that leaves the argument of the ethics.
Yeah, but then we have that round problem now. Like our side, we have capital punishment, so it falls under that. So we're allowed to kill criminals. We're allowed to kill murderers. For the crime of murder.
That goes into another argument that you can go into, is that saying that we choose to build our society with those ethics. Right? So that's the argument, like, we are a democracy and we believe in these sets of values, so that's how we construct our society.
And I think maybe we can end off with the last one, which I think is also very, very common. It's called No True Scotsman.
True Scotsman.
No True Scotsman. And I think the more colloquial term for this is shifting the goalpost.
Yes.
So it could be something like, well, I mean, Muslim people are good people. They are peaceful people. Okay, that's an argument. And then somebody says, oh no, but there are some Muslims who kill people, you know? And then you start to say, well, yeah, but then he's not a true Muslim, is he? Then this is when you start shifting the goalposts, you start changing the rules of what is a Muslim and what's not a Muslim, which is extremely necessary in an argument. But sometimes things get really obvious. Whenever things don't go your favor, you just start shifting things a little bit.
Oh, that's what happened on the Endo shoots, and that other guy, they were arguing about white supremacy.
Tariq Nasheed.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
The guy was blaming everything on white supremacy, and then every single time Andrew Schultz uses an example of like.
So Andrew Schultz is a comedian, New York comedian. Yeah.
And then every time he brings up like but here this guy did this, the other guy immediately says, oh, that's a token black person, or that person was allowed. And then he went to Oprah Winfrey. I mean, it's oh no, whoa. I was like, but you're saying that she's allowed, and he's like, actually, he already wanted to go that nah, she wasn't allowed. She did everything on her own. But then he already said that the white people allow certain black people to. And that's this one. I think that this fallacy applies to that one a lot.
That interview, right, or that debate, right? I think there were the guy went in and there were two goalposts, and the guy just like midway through or within the first minute, he just went there and removed all the goalposts.
There were no goalposts. There were no goalposts. There was nothing.
Yeah.
The common way. The common way that this fallacy manifests is with this line. Oh no, but that's different.
Yeah.
No.
When you hear, oh no, but that's different. That's a different thing.
That's where the shifting begins.
You have to start looking out. I mean, it may be actually different, but it could also be a case of no true Scotsman.
Yeah, very, very common also.
No, I believe I'm guilty of mostly all of them. I'm not a very good arguer, so I'm guilty for most of these things.
And I can really. It only comes down because of Trump, lah.
I think Sean, you appeal to emotion, right?
Yeah.
Because you're such an emotional being.
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about Donald Trump.
That's his number one weapon. One weapon of populism.
Yeah, I don't know what to believe anymore, actually. And with all this, with light to all these new fallacies, I'm inclined to just not believe everything.
Yeah, question.
Easy. Person comes up to me and says, help donate to the heart charity. No, I don't believe you. I just walk away. Actually, that's quite good. Next person asked me to donate to anything. I was like, no, I don't believe you. But wait, this is for the WW. No, you lie. You're false. You're false. Man, I think the best place to do it.
No, it's very healthy to be skeptical and to be inquisitive. But I think it shouldn't turn us into cynical people. And sometimes we believe in something. I think knowing these fallacies encourages an open mind and research, fact checking.
And I'll try to be more mindful of it when Trump comes up.
That's something people should take away from.
Yeah. Or when Trump wins 2020.
It kind of looks closer and closer that it might happen.
Trump 2020.
They're putting up against Biden. I don't see how that works, but yeah, we'll see.
We never know. There might be some independent candidate who might just like swoop in,
rise from the ranks and just topple everything.
Yeah, dude, I'm all for that. I'm just all for like.
But see, we're talking about the president of United States, and we have no fucking say in it.
We have no fucking say, but I really hope that there's some guy that comes out. I'm hoping someone named Jonathan Chambers.
Right.
Because I just want to see the thing, Johnson Chambers, President 2020, and then you just put up JC 2020, JC, and everybody's like, oh, Jesus Christ, come again. Like that. All that things. All
on
those...
the coming of Jesus Christ, shall we come to an end?
Hey, coming up,
so turn on your camera so that you can say bye to everyone. Okay. All right. Thank you, Q, for coming on, for joining us for this week's podcast.
Yes.
We'll probably release it tomorrow evening.
Cool.
If you can share it like your like social.
Sorry to put you in that situation though.
It's all right. I mean, I love
you're risking your wallet, and you're risking the safety of yourself. You might get beat.
We don't need this part in now.
What?
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, but thank you. It was a pleasure. Yeah, especially I've always wanted to share like my interest in logical fallacies. I'm a person of logic, I would like to believe.
All right, it's been awesome, man.
Definitely.
I was actually just sad that most of those things actually I could see them apply to me. I was like,
those things can apply to anyone. Most of us would like fall into any of those. Like I think 14 of them.
Because I saw them as like, most likely like strategies to get your way, and then I see how they're wrong. Like, oh, now I feel bad about myself. Screw you, Q.
No, but important. No, look, these rhetorics are not evil. They're not bad. They're neutral. It's sometimes we need a simpler way of getting messages across. It's just that people abuse it, and you kind of have to be aware of how it can be misused. It can totally be used for good.
Yeah, it's neutral, right? And it also depends on who you're arguing with. If that person can look through your fallacies and point it out or counter those, then you know that
you met your match.
You met your match. But if the person does not know what the hell is going on and just falls into the trap, then it's a good thing that you use those.
Yeah. It's always a good conversation or argument when both sides kind of take something away. Even if you haven't changed your viewpoint, you start to see the other side, and so it's something that is extremely healthy. Don't think that this is a bad thing or like people are ugly. It's not. I think the power of speech has been imbued in human beings. We were given a voice. So we must use it, but we must use it correctly.
On that note,
yes.
Ciao.
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 All right.